Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and today I'm here to show you how to make this fancy fold card. And I've used the Butterfly Brilliance bundle, it's a mouthful, that is available from Stampin' Up. It's actually a pre-order. It will be in the new annual catalog, which doesn't launch until May, but it's being released early, so you'll be able to get your hands on this bundle of the stamp set and the dies, as well as some exclusive designer series paper and some specialty paper. The paper is only available until the new catalog launches, and after that it won't be in the new catalog, so you want to get your hands on this. So let me show you how I made this fancy fold, and I'll just switch over to my desktop and we'll get started. Okay, so this was the card that I posted on my blog today, and I've used this beautiful designer series paper that is available. These are 6x6 sheets, and there are, I believe, 48 sheets of them, different patterns. And then this pretty paper is the designer series, or the specialty paper that is available. So it's wood grained in this really blonde colored wood grain. This is one of the stamps, and you can see these little hashtag is one of the dies, and the butterfly is cut out using the dies. So let me just bring in the products, the stamp set. Okay, so this is the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set. It is, I've got it in my Stamparatus to go. It is a single stamp, but it cuts out 6 of the butterflies all in one go, which is really cool, so that you can, I've used this, I showed this a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago, on my blog, and I used it as a background stamp, so it's really easy to do. But today I'm going to actually stamp and cut out one of the butterflies. So that's the stamp set. Such pretty butterflies. These are the dies, so there's lots of dies that come. This die is the one that will lay on top and will cut out all of your butterflies at once. And the really cool thing is there is a piece of the designer series paper that is perfectly aligned, and so that you can cut out 6 of the butterflies from that designer series paper. You don't have to do any coloring. It's great. Then there are these backgrounds. So I'm using this one that's kind of like a hashtag, not sure what you call it, but as a background, some little butterflies, and then these the bricks. And then there are 6 of the butterflies that are outlines that you can cut out. I've done this using vellum. It's really pretty to cut the outlines, but you can also do it in cardstock or designer series paper for that matter. It's a really great bundle in that there's so many dies that you get. Okay, so let's just put this. So the first thing, I will put the link to my blog underneath the video. All of the measurements and the written instructions for this card will be on my blog, so that you don't have to panic and write them down. But I'm just going to bring in my trimmer. So this piece I'm using thick basic white cardstock, and this piece is cut 7 inches by 5.5, and I'm going to score this at 4 1/4, which is your standard card size. So it makes a card base. Oopsie. There we go. Makes a card base that is 4 1/4 by 5 inches when you actually fold it. All right, so then I've got a piece of the wood grain designer series paper, and this is cut 2.5 by 5 1/4, and this will fit on here. And then I've taken a piece of the designer series paper. Just so pretty, the colors. I'm using Just Jade to go with this, but it's got melon mambo in it. It's got yellows. It's got blues. Oh, it's so pretty. So this piece is cut 1.5 by 5 1/4, and it's going to fit just on the edge here. And then I've got a piece of Just Jade that I'm going to cut my circle out from. So put my trimmer away. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere some of these pieces down. I'm just using Stampin' if I can get it to, there we go. So I'm just going to adhere this piece to the edge like that, and this piece to the front. Oops, stuck to my fingers. Love the wood grain. Alright, that one there. Okay, so now I've got my card base. I'll just burnish this with my bone folder, which I didn't do. Really good crease. Okay, so that's my card base. Put that aside. Now I've got a piece of just jade, and I'm going to use the Stitch Shapes dies, and I'm going to use the largest circle of the Stitch Shapes. I'm just going to take it. I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here, so I'm just going to take it off camera for a minute and cut this, say bringing it on. Alright, put that off, that. Okay, so this is now my Stitch Shape die. Now what I'm going to do with this, and find the rest of the dies. Okay, if you're ever missing a die, check the back of your Stamparatus. I always forget that. It's got a magnet, and it may actually steal your die. Okay, I'm going to take this. It's off to the side. I'm going to take this little. This is the little hashtag that I'm calling it, background die, and I'm just going to take and do it. I bring in my mini cut and emboss machine, you'll be able to see what I do. Oops, let's bring it this way. So I'm going to put my circle here. Now, the one trick I've learned is that you don't want this to be too close to the edge because it will cut through and then just make it hard to adhere. So I'm just going to lay that on. And basically, I'm going to randomly run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So you can see what it does and just creates this lovely, lovely hashtag pattern. And I'm really just kind of randomly trying not to get it too close to the edge. Still works if you do get it close to the edge. It just it cuts through, and you just have to be a little careful when you adhere it down. Oh, sorry, it's going all over the place here. There's one. There we go. There's some more. Just a fun way to create some texture on your background, your circle that the butterfly is going to go on. So you could emboss it, you could do some stamping on it, but this background die is just a great way to add some texture. And there are 3 of these background dies. There is the one that looks like bricks, and there's the one that looks like little circles. There we go. Put this away. So you can see now, oopsie, there we go, my the detail that's on here with those. Okay. So that one's going to go here, and I'm just going to take my dimensionals. Now what you want to do is I want this to go in the middle here. So I only want the dimensionals to go on the left half of the circle. You don't want to put your dimensionals all over this circle, otherwise you'll adhere your card together. So I'm just going to make sure that the dimensionals are on only this half. That's off. And then this can go down like that. Okay, so I've got my card front mostly ready. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stamp. Now I've decided I'm going to use my Stamparatus, and I've got a piece of basic white cardstock Not sure what size I've cut this. I just took a scrap. So I've got it cut. This is 4 inches by, well, it's 5 3/4. So it's more than I just was a scrap. And what you can do is take your, I'm using the Memento, Tuxedo Black Memento, because I'm going to color with my blends. If I was coloring with my markers, I wouldn't be so concerned. But because I'm coloring with my blends, I want to make sure I'm using the Memento. And the way, by doing it this way, is you can just go over the one butterfly that you want to stamp. Now, if you want to do the whole thing and cut it out because you'll use it later, I'm just doing one. So it's an easy way to actually just stamp one image at a time. I love that as a background though. Okay, so I've got this, and I've brought in, I've got Just Jade, Calypso Coral, and Daffodil Delight. So you can color this however you want. I'm actually going to do the top of it in Daffodil Delight. I'm going over the whole thing with my light. So when I color, we're using, these are alcohol markers. They are intended to blend, and this is a big enough image that you can actually do some blending on. So I'm going to do the top of my, and I tend to go over the whole image that I'm going to do in that color. And then I can go and add in the other colors. So I'm just going to do where the artist who designed this stamp set has given us clear ideas of where some of the darker spots are. So I'm just going to go through those with the dark of my Daffodil Delight, and then I'm just going to go lightly back over that with the light just to blend so I don't get the line. I'm going to go now with my Just Jade. I just love Just Jade. It's such a pretty color. And I'm going to do the body of my butterfly with Just Jade. And then I'm going to do this spot. Looks like kind of a, I don't know, it's like kind of, it's a oval shape, and it just looks like it's meant to be a different color. So, and then I'm just going to go in with a little bit of darker of the Just Jade. So you can do as much blending or as little blending as you want. You can just color with your markers. Okay, now the bottom of this I'm going to do in Calypso Coral. It kind of coordinates with the designer series paper that I put on the inside of this card. And then I'm just doing the whole image, this whole piece of the bottom of the butterfly in Calypso Coral. And then I'm going to go back in with the dark Calypso Coral and just do some of the spots that look like they're intended to be a little darker. Around the edge of the wing. And then again, just to blend this a little bit. Right. Now I think he needs a little bit more color. So I'm going to go in with my light Just Jade. And I'm just going to go in on the edge here. So on this side. And just do over that yellow, and then I'm going to go back in with the light yellow and just blend this a little bit, just to give it, I said, sometimes I'll leave my images until, do some coloring, leave it for a bit, and then go back over it, because sometimes you see different things when you've had a chance to kind of step away from it. But I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I'm going to take, so this is the die that cuts everything out, and this is the image. So because I'm just doing the one, what I want to do is I'm going to take my scissors, my paper snips, and I'm just going to cut kind of around this, because what if I left it like this and cut it out, I'm going to waste this whole paper where this is going to cut out. But now I can just cut out this one butterfly and not waste the rest of that paper. Just take it onto my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Line it up. And cut out. Let's see. Like I said, if I had stamped the whole stamp, I would have been able to cut out 6 butterflies all in one go. But because I just did one, I'm just using this to cut out the single butterfly. But it's a great die, a great stamp set and die. Okay. So my butterfly, I'm going to pop up using some dimensionals. Coming to the end of this piece of dimensionals. So I'll just cut some pieces off of it. And, oops, up to my fingers. And we'll put it like this. Right. So the last thing I want to do is on this scrap, I've got, oopsie, shake the camera, sorry about that. I've got the Happy Thoughts stamp set, and I'm going to stamp this using Thank You, and I've got Just Jade. So I'm going to just stamp on this scrap. Thank you. Oops, there we go. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to fussy cut around this. So you can go as close as you want. I'm just kind of following the letters around a little bit. To cut out. You could use a punch if you wanted to, or a die that you have for this label. But sometimes when I'm putting this over top of my butterfly, so I'm going to put it like this. So sometimes I just like to have it cut out around it, and the paper snips are perfect for this. So I'm just going to take and cut a thin piece of dimensional. That. I need a little one. I could use the mini ones. Actually, I'll use the mini one for the end. There we go. Over there. Right, and I'm just going to put that like that. Okay, so now it's just doing some embellishments. So I've got some Just Jade ribbon. And I'm just going to take a piece and, oh, there they are. I'm just going to say I had glue dots. So I'm just going to fold this. I've cut, this is about 3.5 inches. And I'm just going to fold that like that. And I'm going to take a glue dot. And I'm going to just tuck this up underneath there like that. And the last thing I want to do is I've got some, these are the Artistry Blooms adhesive back sequence. And these ones are kind of Calypso Coral. So I could use, there's Pool Party, and there's yellow, kind of an orangey yellow. But I kind of like these ones that are Calypso Coral. So I'm just going to take your pick tool and put 3 of these. I'll just randomly on my card, just to finish it off. I just gives a little bit of bling to it. All right, so that's my card. Let's see, let me see. There we go. So really nice fancy folds. You can write in here, but I just love the color of the coordinating designer series paper. So let me just switch back. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, I will put the link to my blog, which has all of the measurements and the written instructions for making this card so that you can make it yourself. I hope you take a look at the Butterfly Brilliance bundle that's coming out, as well as the amazing, oh, so pretty designer series paper, and then the specialty paper, the wood grain specialty paper. Those two are only available until the new catalog launches, but the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set and dies, the bundle, will be available in the upcoming annual catalog that launches in May. While you're here looking at my video, I'd love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get notified on my upcoming videos. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have questions, just post them underneath the video or underneath my blog. I'll leave a comment on my blog and I'm happy to answer your questions. So thanks for joining me. Bye, everybody.